Hey guys, Anne Marie here. I'm trying something a little different with my opening images or my thumbnails. I'm going to try putting a different color background according to what type of video it is so that it's a little more obvious um, on first glance what it is. So process videos are going to have this kind of teal background. The only problem I have with it so far is that it won't necessarily always go with the layout, and that bothers me. So we'll see if I stick with it, but I'm going to try it. And we'll see what other colors of backgrounds I use for the different types of videos. But today is a process video, and this is a single page layout. I'll be using a PageMaps sketch that we were doing, I believe, for a sketch challenge on a message board that I'm on. So I started with a dark red cardstock. I picked a lighter red pattern paper because there is a lighter red little polka dots and hearts on the cup that I'm featuring. And then I started looking for some blue paper to go with it to bring out those pops of blue. So yeah, you'll see me pull out my 4th of July papers here because I've got reds and blues that go really nicely, but I would like one that has both colors in it. And there just isn't a lot of papers with red and blue in it that aren't 4th of July. Or, just patriotic in general. This is the sketch that I'm working with today. And I'm simplifying it a little bit. I'm just going to go with one pattern block behind the whole thing. It was hard for me to tell if it was one pattern block or several kind of lined up together, but I usually opt for the simpler interpretation when in doubt. And plus, it was kind of late in the month. It was like the 22nd or so when I did this. And I'm in another challenge where I try to get 4 layouts every done. Goodness, 4 layouts done every month. And this was only the second. So I needed to crank some layouts out. And I just wanted to go for quick and easy. Here I'm doing a very common way to save paper, just trimming little strips and tucking them underneath so it appears that there's a larger block underneath. My distressing, I got a little too excited about it and had some tears, so I'm just making sure that those are laying right. All right, so I start with the photo on the right, like the sketch shows, but then it looks like I'm handing a cup of coffee to somebody off the layout. Like, to me, the direction of movement implied by that placement was taking it off the layout. So I moved it and flipped the sketch so that it looked more like the coffee cup. I don't know, if there were movement, it would be moving into the layout. It would direct your eye into the layout. And now I'm going to work on the banner. This layout, honestly, I don't know if it's because I was in such a rush, but I just made mistake after mistake after mistake. I think I was trying to rush, for the reasons I already stated, and I got away from myself. I decided to make a banner, but I matted the paper before I did it. So I had to pull it up and eyeball the cuts so that it was still matted. You're going to see me make a lot of mistakes today, and I left them in because I kind of wanted to talk about how I recovered from them. Because, my layout goes through a few problem areas, and I have to work with it. So I'm matting again on the blue. I just really like the contrast of the blue and the red, but I feel like maybe that needs, it does need more. I'm going to stick it down here, but then I look at the sketch again and I realize there's a whole block behind that photo. So I'll come back to that. However, I have figured out that I really like a bigger, bold blue there. That looks so much more restful to my eye. I still want to use that paper, but I don't want it on the banner. So after all that, after all that drama with peeling it up and cutting it again, I'm going to get rid of it. And now I'm coming back to the photo to address in the sketch, there's a larger block behind the photo. In the sketch, there's actually 2 photos, and I'm just using one. So I cut the block as big as it was in the sketch, which is to take it above and below the large kind of swath of paper in the middle, but I didn't like that look with just one photo because it really looked like the photo was like swimming in it. You'll see here in a second. But I'm using an edge punch since there was a decorative edge in the sketch. And when I use it on both ends, it's very pretty. I like it. And just happened to be able to cut it at an angle that was like the perfect amount for the little loops. But again, I'm working rather impulsively, and so I feel like I could have done this better. I'm going to end up with having to cut one of those loops kind of in half, and it looks fine. I'm trying to not let it bother me. It's fine. It's fine. But maybe not. Right there, I should have moved it down and in a little bit so there was a bigger border and I could have trimmed it to be even with the end of a loop. Okay, so here, didn't like the big swath, so I'm chopping it off and I'm going to tuck the decorative edge underneath. So I am going to pick up the photo. Sorry that this is kind of hard to see. I'm going to pick up the photo and tuck that decorative edge under the photo, but with the decorative edge hanging out. So there's very little seam visible. You'd have to look really close and it would be on the side. And I don't think anybody's going to do that. So yeah, that was kind of how I hid that seam. But that does mean that just because of the way that I placed it earlier, we have this kind of open edge on the loop, and that is still bothering me. I wish that I would have matted it with a broader white mat so that I could have had that complete loop. So I still want to bring in some blue, so I'm going to bring in some twine. One of my message board friends was saying how my nails matching the cup was like one of their favorite details. And I'm like, why do you think I took the picture? I was so excited because I worked really hard on that manicure for whatever reason that week. I was just really into it. And I had made a little snowstorm. And then it snowed on New Year's, which is when we were here at this coffee place too. And then I get this perfect snowy cup to go with my snowy nails. So as a scrapbooker, I think you all can appreciate that. That type of synergy. It was wonderful. All right, so I'm figuring out how I'm going to add this back. There's an area on the sketch, kind of an embellishment cluster on the inside of the photo. So I'm thinking that I'll use it to help build that area up. In the sketch, it's a round spot, but I didn't, leave myself really enough to, I guess I could have gone back to another scrap, but it was just easier to cut what I had. And then I was going to bring in the round elements with a doily. And this would have been a great idea. But I ruined it, as you'll see later. Usually when I'm at that point where I like something, but I have not stuck it down, I'll take a picture to help myself remember. And I was using my phone to record, and so I didn't. I need to find a way to do that because when I stuck down the doily, I stuck it over too far. And then I stuck down the picture on top of it. That's fine. I stuck down the hearts on top of it, and I couldn't find the kind of place that I wanted to find. So the doily is way too fragile to be peeled back up, as you'll see later. And it's just completely messed with the placement of things now. Between the twine and everything else, I couldn't make it. It wasn't what I had laid out before. And as soon as I tried to pick that up, it ripped the doily. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to move the doily. That was stuck. Because that wasn't a die, it wasn't cardstock, it was that really thin paper, that doilies are made of. So I'm going to try it there. It's not as pretty, it's not exactly what I wanted, but I'm going to try it. I've pulled a snowflake sticker off of a doodlebug sheet, and I'm going to try to incorporate this. Spoiler alert, I failed. But I'm going to try for a little while. So now I'm thinking about journaling. Where am I going to put my journaling block? I pull out a couple of fun royal blue ones, but decide to use, the white side, and I'm going to mat it to get a fun little border. I really often will work layouts like this where I just stick it down as I go. And if it doesn't work, I rework it. But sometimes that process can be very frustrating for me. And I can have regrets, like I kind of do with the doily on this layout. But I have to say, ultimately, I am pleased with how this layout turned out. I think it's cute. It may not be what you know, it may not be the ideal perfect version, but it still works. So this is a point where I'm really frustrated. I don't feel like I can journal on that. I'll have a big chunk of white space there. I don't feel like I can journal on the chunk of white space that's like that corner sticking up. It's fine for a layering piece, but I'd have to put more things on top. And I still haven't even done the title. So I decided to look for some themed embellishments. I'm going through my stamps to see what kind of coffee stuff I have. I have an entire stamp set of coffee. Can I find it? No. Do I need to reorganize my stamps? Yes. Be looking for that video, just like the cardstock one inspired by last week's layout struggles or kit making struggles. But I did remember I had a sheet of Doodlebug paper with cute little coffee cups on it. I had one coffee mug in my stamps, and it was a perfect embellishment size, but I am not using that kind. It's not that kind of coffee cup in the layout. It's a different travel cup thing, so that was bothering me. I wanted to use the exact same type of cup, so I found these in a Doodlebug piece of paper, and I'm going to cut 3 little coffee cups out to use as embellishments. All right, so I'm going to figure out where to place these. I thought I added some little Martha Stewart tiny doily punch outs. I thought that would tie in with the doily since I didn't have any more little white doilies I could use. But now I'm not loving them on top of the sticker because you can kind of see the snowflake underneath. It's very visually confusing. And if I'm not wanting to see the snowflake, what's the purpose of even having the sticker there anyway? So I'm going to try it without. That's visually confusing as well because you've got the white polka dots in the pattern paper. It makes it hard to read the pattern of the doily. And that little coffee cup peeking out just looks creepy. So I peel that back up. Ladies, I am a huge proponent usually of sticking things down as you go because it helps you make your decisions. But I swear, I regret it. This layout was a mess, and it would have been much less of a mess of a process if I would have just been patient and played around and laid things out and taken my time that way. What I landed on, though, I loved. And it covered up the mess of glue, so it was all good. I just ended up building embellishments with a circle punch. There is little pale polka dots on this blue. It's the same blue as the banner, but it's like tone on tone. They're blue polka dots, so they blend more in the background, and the doily stands out better, I feel like. It's not as visually hard for my eye to read. And then I just pop dotted the little coffee cups on top. I will go back later and touch up with my Wink of Stella, and voila, perfect little cute coffee embellishment. I felt good about it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish out 2 more so that I have 3 for visual triangle because I'm kind of, I don't know if addicted, dependent is the right word, something. But I must always have a visual triangle. So my embellishments are made and I'm going to figure out where to put them. And I did struggle a little here. I felt like a lot of places for this one were just too close to the original one. But I had that adhesive mess I needed to cover up. And plus I wanted to bring the blue over to that side of the layout. So that embellishment wasn't going to go anywhere. So I really struggled with this. And look what I do next. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's painful. I love doilies. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that was my last little white mini doily. So that was sad. But I did it. I'm not proud, but I did it. It just had to go. It was all ripped all to heck. All right, so now I've got a big spot I still got to cover, but it's fine because I am still going to do my embellishment cluster here. But I prefer the vertical journaling box. I've got a vertical photo. I've got a strong vertical line with the banner. I want to echo that with the journaling box. And then I'll have 3 vertical items. They kind of make their own visual triangle. And they can contrast with the horizontal paper. For some reason, if I turn the journaling box horizontally, that to me, it's not enough contrast with the horizontal paper. But having 3 vertical items, it just fits a lot better to me. I'm not sure if I can make that make sense. Sorry. But to my eye, it made sense. I went ahead and committed to the embellishment up on the banner because, yeah, I like that. And now that I've simplified this area here with the journaling block, I'm pretty sure I'm going to leave that embellishment there too. And so it's time to build my title. Has anybody noticed something is missing besides a doily? I got rid of the heart paper. I was really committed to the whole I want red and blue in the same pattern paper to help tie it together. I was very adamant about that, but there just wasn't a way that I could find to really make it work and make sense. And I realized, you know what ties the red and the blue together? The coffee cup, the focal part of my layout. That is showing red and blue together, and that's enough. Otherwise, I'm just going to have some contrast going on, and that's visually interesting. So we're good to go. I decided it was enough. So I just picked out some enamel dots for the finishing touches, and I'm figuring out where to place those. Kind of doing a scattering of the different colors in each little spot and changing the sizes of each of those colors in each spot as well. Just for a little continuity, using the same colors with variety, changing up the sizes. I am using some silver glitter dots to bring in that silver glitter thickers that I used, which tied to the glitter stickers that I used. And I feel like it goes with it because I've got silver on my fingernails and it's the holiday season. So I like to do my enamel dots sometimes off and on to an element, kind of bridging a gap between 2 elements to more closely tie them together, unite them as it were. And I'm almost out of these rhinestones, and I'm struggling because I'm frozen till 50 and I'm still in the 30s. So I have a long way to go before I will be unfrozen. And I'm not sure I know how to craft without teeny tiny rhinestones. So I've got some clear and iridescent stickles that I could use, but it's just not the same. So I may allow myself to replace my clear rhinestones. We'll see. So there we have it. That's the finished layout. It's simple. straightforward. There's it compared to this sketch. It's simple and straightforward, but that's my style. I'm learning to embrace that. So thanks so much for watching and for being here. If you enjoyed anything from today's video, then I'll hope that you give me a thumbs up or maybe even subscribe, leave a comment. I would love that. And I will see you guys next week with another video. Bye.